Alrighty, welcome
All
to
right,
another session.
on air. Okay,
So the topics
where do you
are,
want to start?
well, I can explain how the development pipeline is set up now, and I can tell you how things got upgraded to answer your questions about where the commands came from. My main thing I want from you is I still have issues seeing how dealing with multiple bots ties into our system, because I think that if we can have the commands to show me all my bots, if I can have that command figured out, then I think we're off. But until then, I'm a little fuzzy, so I need some help there. What do you got your side?
Right. Well, I've got the new HAL, which we can take it from a blank new version 3, or I can show you the CRM. I don't mind, but it's given me some insights to answer your question.
Okay.
I've not done any names on the CRM work that I was doing just this morning using the new HAL. So it is going to be very generic, but useful for modeling.
All right. So to answer your question about where did the commands come from, this is the repo. This is the repo. So all I've got HAL v2, that's the old one, and this is HAL v3, which is the new one.
Yeah.
And all I did was I changed under the entry.json, I changed that line to be the default help. And inside of this help, I gave it the front matter. That's why it has the commands, because I put them in there.
And how does HAL know how you're talking about there? It's got to,
when this loads, when this help file is loaded, these commands are expanded. And so what happens is that each one of them, how do I show this to you? Oh dear. Hang on. Here we go. Make a plain text viewer. I'll do that for you later. So basically, I should be able to show you the session file raw, but
so what it does, it expands that and adds it into the system prompt. Is that right?
Yeah, I might be able to show it to you here. If I go Control Y. Here we go. So Control Y opens a new tab, new session. I open up the network tab. I get this thing. And then I go, hello. And now the file comes down. How do I copy the message? Excuse me, I know this is awful to watch.
No, it's quite amusing.
I paste it down there. And we got nothing. Nope, got nothing. Sorry. So, how does it work?
So it must have some way of extending load help into.
Yes. Okay. So I'll show you exactly where load help comes from. It comes from the isolates. There is load help the load help isolate. And then in the API, we have load help dot load. And that's where the description that gets inserted into that into the agent. You can't on the platform that shows up as the functions. So on here it's fluff. On here it's do I have to? Go straight to hell. So,
don't worry. I think I'm.
yeah, and you can't.
I know what the functions are. So
yeah, in the playground, you can set functions, but it's quite laborious to do in the playground. It's not. It's not in the session file. It's separate to the session file. It's a way to load it via the API. The bot is specifically trained to recognize or interpret what the description is, and then the schema.
The description is picked up, and that's why.
That's why it knows what to do. Yeah.
Because I didn't tell it anything about that, and you were chatting away with it.
That's how it knows what to do, and then it knows this is the schema. The properties define the schema of the function call, and that's why it calls it correctly every time. And so that's that. That's where that comes from.
Right. Cool.
And the files was the other common one.
So you could expand that. Help doesn't need to be just code. It can be plain text, right?
A help.
If you're just expanding that, or does it have to be code?
Well, these are functions that it calls. So when it calls functions, the bot returns, instead of giving me text back, it says that it made a tool call, and it wants me to make the tool call for it, and it will refuse to continue until I supply the results of the tool call back to it.
All right, so you can't just. I was thinking, be quite helpful because there's quite a lot of repetitive tasks, texts in some of these prompts, especially when we get to a number of them. Being able to put in, go to this file, and then you can. Well, it's modular. Right.
I'm not sure what you mean, but I might have an idea. So here you can say
is,
and that lists the files in the current directory. And then so I can say what are the dir's. Right, and then I say write the contents meow into the file cheese.txt.
sort of
And now what we should see is a tool call go down. I hope. Oh, God almighty. It's a little bit verbose, isn't it?
This is all going to be obscured.
There we go. Okay, now if I list the current files again, now I have cheese.
And so interesting. Let me think about that. Okay, so get up, or rather, let me hide a whole bunch of stuff.
And then like that's the read function call.
Right. Can you get it to say something? Oh, this will be a test. Tell me about cheese. What's it going to do? Is it going to go to meow? Does it? what I'm saying is, it's just read out the contents of cheese
Yeah.
dot text is meow.
Yeah.
What would be good is, say if that was a system prompt or
Right.
context switch, and then you can get it to take the action of it.
Yeah. Yep. That's the idea, but
it's probably just printing that out as a
no, because it's. I need to give you one more function. It's. I think it's the function called like handover or become, because the issue is that you can't. It needs to be a new session, because otherwise you get the existing system prompt. Like otherwise you'll get this system prompt in there.
Yeah, you can pistol with it, but
It's better to start fresh. So I would
by far.
imagine that you want to actually, like, it'll start a new session, and so this will become that'll become cheese.txt will be the image that it's running, and then you would have started a new session with cheese.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes.
Right. So this is sort of the awkward bit, right? Because I'm like, well, fuck. We got all these components. How do we tie them together? You know, like I can write files. Yeah, easy. I can read them, write them. Got multiple threads. Got all the stuff. But it feels like there's only a few bits missing to make the system. But what are they?
There is now one of the main parts of it is what I was doing this morning with the CRM was I was taking it from 0 and using HAL v3
Right.
to build the CRM, and I did it quite well. In fact, you can bring it up. Yeah. So all good stuff. Answering all its questions, very good questions every time. And then what it's doing on this one is giving 3 guesses with increasing temperature, and then reflecting on 3, and then marking them, and then taking 1, and then checking that against your original goal.
But you told it to increase the temperature. It's not actually genuinely increasing the temperature, right?
I'm saying
all right.
more
So,
creative. Yeah.
How much do you like this strategy? This 3-step reflection thing?
I think it's really good at the HAL level.
Right.
I think it's probably useful at the agent level.
So what we could do is we could actually fire off each one of those things into an individual instance, and so they would run in parallel. So first of all, it would happen faster, but second of all, we can genuinely change the temperature of each one. So there's like 3 temperature shots go out, the results all come back in, and then one bot looks at the finished result.
Exactly. So
is that what you want?
To try and do this in one thing. Because what you get is how then self-corrects, and every time the resulting final thing is much better than the first guess.
Okay, so how bad you want it? Like, you want me to do it now, or
that handoff would be very, very useful, because quite quickly when doing the CRM further down, getting to the point where saying, well, I've got a number of bots here, and I need then to have those bots orchestrated. I need the bots to know, for example, the example right at the bottom, this is the example I was working on, and there's no solution yet. But we've got a customer agent talking to the customer management system saying, I want to create a new customer. Now, a customer has a location, that location has a route ID, that route ID is used in a schedule, and so on. And so I put that into a clean version, and Hal was asking me for the route ID, and it's like, no. You want to be talking to the bot that deals with routes and schedules, and they can do various logic around, deconfliction and that sort of thing, and then come back with the root ID. So it's that passing off to another task, and then it comes back is a thing. Now, I think what I've been thinking about this morning is very similar to what you do. How do we orchestrate it?
Yeah, I guess that's the problem, right? How do we orchestrate it internally amongst itself? You know, because there are like what we do want is we want, for example, a customer comes in or an agent comes in, and for whatever reason, someone who's allowed to changes the address of a customer.
Yep.
That then needs to trigger a message being sent to the routing bot that says, "Hey, this customer changed. Do something about it."
Yeah.
And then that's
also to the logging bot or to the messaging
yeah.
bot.
There's a bunch of messages go out, and it's like ping, and then you're like, well, okay, so what happened there? Are they now running in a parallel session with the routing bot? Or is it sitting there in a stack?
Some of these requests are like stopping requests, right? So if I want to change a customer name and I'm a customer agent, my permissions allow me to do that. It's like, you know, the bot that's in charge of customer management doesn't have a choice. Just do it because I've got permission.
Right.
I'm telling you to do it.
Right.
And the other one thing would be this customer has asked for a one-off pickup. I don't have permissions for that as a customer agent. It needs to go to the duty manager, which is async.
Right.
And then can sit in a stack.
Right. Okay. So the stack. What is the
message the customer agent? Sorry.
The stack would look like that could be just a file or a collection of files.
Well, I think it's just messages.
Well, no, they got to be stored somewhere. There's no such thing as a message.
Well, no. What I was looking at is a messaging bot. That's
like a routing bot, like a message manager.
Yeah. So whenever something happens and say the duty manager makes you can do that.
Yeah. Like an outbox, a mail
bot to tell everyone who needs to know.
Right, the mail bot. So instead of, so you wouldn't make it be the customer bot wouldn't be the one that does it. You want a dedicated router.
I think so, because then you can go and interrogate.
Yeah, why does that feel? That feels good. Because so where is the rules that say who needs to be updated when a customer changes?
That comes down to I've got a customer policy bot, which basically gives kind of yes or no, or answers questions, which would hold, for example, if a schedule is cancelled, then the customer agent needs to know, and the customer agent needs to talk to the customer saying, "You've just been cancelled."
Cancelled.
Not like that. If you scroll down, I've got Hal's kind of first shot at what that might look like, because I was asking him exactly this.
So where am I going?
Oh, just go all the way down, and then
all the way to the bottom.
Back up, yeah, and then we'll scroll back up. If you go up. Ignore all this because he's still trying to write the first system prompt, and that's the template for the system prompts. We can go into that later. I asked it something like, "How do we orchestrate all this?"
How are you doing?
Yeah, it was like, "What's your idea, Hal? Come on."
What are you doing now?
There you go. Right. So this is his response. If you go up a bit further, you'll see my prompt. Something along the lines of, I should orchestrate the activity of team bots, etc. I think what you're saying is each bot knows which other bot to contact when it doesn't have permission to do something.
Now what's the fucking, what's the name of that? It's there's a name for that problem, but that's the wrong way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
the right way to do it is to have a. I mean, you're going to hate me for this word, but the right way to do it is to have a topology that
I don't mind topologies. Quite like topologies.
I said topology, not
I had
apology.
2 last night.
And if you like I forget the name of it, and it's not coming to me, but the concept is that the bot, if you make the bot aware of who it has to talk to, then it becomes overburdened with this task, and now your configuration data has been spread around the place. Whereas if the who needs to talk to who is in a central place, and the bots just do what they're told, they basically get sent a message and then they reply back, and then it's this central piece of config that knows how to delegate everything around, then that is a cleaner model to do message orchestration.
Yeah, actually, if you scroll up, that was one of the things I looked at. What did I call it? A process bot or something. Further, I ask it to list all the bots. Yeah, keep going. Still talking about. Oh, here we go. Listing all the bots. It should be in here somewhere.
Interactions, right?
But further down. That's just the G manager. Further down, permissions. Further down, logging, imagery, analytics reporting, notifications and alerts. There's the policies.
It's almost like you don't want, you only want the bots to respond to messages in a particular format and give them out in a particular format, and you want to trigger, there's a higher level thing that knows who needs to get told, because what it means is that you can reprogram the system, like you make each individual bot more isolated and more independently testable.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about that, maybe it's a previous.
It's names like message broker and other things like that seem to mind, like the service bus. It's that type of thing.
Service bus, orchestrator, router, that sort of. But yeah. So the general topography, use that word again, I was thinking about is you got people, and people, well, excluding customer, because customer talks to only customer agent. But all the internal people each have their own dedicated bot. That bot looks to permissions and company policy in order to carry out the task it's been told to. When it's got a task, it wraps that up in. I sent you this format. I was looking at what one of these tasks looks like, and give me a second. I've got it up on the screen.
I saw it. I saw the format.
Oh yeah, you saw it. Yeah. So it's along the lines of
identity, right. And so
task, goal, intent.
Yeah. So you would actually want to store that format in a bot called the bot maker, and then you'd sort of
and that's
you'd reason away, and then you'd be like, okay, now run this through the bot maker, and the bot maker generates that.
That's
thing.
Yeah, that's right? Exactly what this session is. How using how to make system prompts, and then manually put them across.
Yeah, I know. It's like, fuck, man. I can see how to do every single one of your tasks. I just can't see how to glue it all together. Like any single thing you said we can do, but how do we tie it all as one?
Well, are we conflating two things here? Because we've got consideration of how, which is a general purpose. Let's make sure we understand what we're trying to do here.
Right.
And then I'm using how to create a CRM. Now the CRM, absolutely, I agree, has this central orchestrator. So you got internal people, each with their own bot. When it's decided that it knows what the task is, talks to the orchestrator talks to other doers, or we call it something else. It's not quite commands, isn't it? What was it? I still will use those definitions. I've got them up on the wall here. Low-level bots that will just carry out the action.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I typed something in your prompt. I wasn't even thinking. I didn't. That probably.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying.
That probably messed up your prompt. Sorry.
Right, the first bot to the file name to bot name. Oh, this would be interesting. It should do something here because it does have two. It's got the customer management bot quite recently. Let's see what it does. Can we get Nelly back on?
Oh, you want the music?
No, I really don't actually.
I know you know a Nelly song or two.
I know it. I'm pretty sure I don't. It's like being. It's one of these.
I need to try to hummer. I want to get my rims dirty. Oh, why do I live this way? Oh, it must be the
So that was 4 kilobytes of text.
If you want to take a ride with me, dream
Content. Because that's correct. That's the last thing I was talking to.
For sure.
We need to get it cracking up in here, man. This ain't it.
Yeah, all right, Dirty. I'm on my way. Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, but Nelly's still on.
Oh, shit. You don't know this song?
Man. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Fucking hell.
One day,
when
we're rich and famous, I'll take you to one of his concerts one day. It'll be a blast.
No, it's like Pink Floyd, Meatloaf, and the fine Mr. Cash. Otherwise, I have no idea. I didn't even know who Taylor Swift was until like 2 months ago.
Taylor who? Yeah, so that's the output.
That is exactly right.
Okay.
Now, if we had a way of then referring to that, and
you want to boot it, eh? You want it to be here. You want it to boot there, right? You want it to.
Now that's an image, right? That image is now something which ideally, even manually, I could do it. It's like, okay.
Right, so there's your file.
Yeah. So probably what I'd do in order to keep it clean is, for the time being, we can do this in the background, jump to a new HAL and say, run customer agent interaction bot.
Nah, that's the catch. That's only in your branch. That's only in this branch.
Okay.
Right? That's the issue.
I see.
That's the issue.
How do we then?
How do
not open up another tab? But
so you want to push it up. You want to push it up, or the other option is I could run it right here. So I could give you a command that was something like run the file customer blah 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 here, right? And what does that sound right?
It sounds about right.
Okay, and when that happens though, this whole session is going to disappear, and you're now going to be running that. So instead of HAL-v3, you'll see customer agent interaction bot, and you'll have a blank session.
What would be great would be, and this is what I was talking about earlier on, to jump back in. So
you want to jump back and forth between the two?
It doesn't need to be graceful, but what I want to do is not dump the entire session up to this point, because
it's not going to dump it.
Point,
no, it's not going to dump it. It's gonna start a new branch, and it's gonna start it with a blank session in the new branch. So as soon as you leave that branch, you come back to where you are here.
Okay.
Yeah, but the issue is how when you're inside customer agent interaction bot, that's what I wanted to use backchat for, to escape out, because how do you escape out, and what does back mean?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you want it to be? Like when I start customer agent session bot, did I start it as a child branch or as a peer? Because as a child it gets a bit messy, but as a peer it gets messy too. So it's like pick your messy.
Okay. Right, here would be, okay, just to pin it down, this would be the task of creating the CRM bots, not running the CRM. I think there's a subtle difference there.
But you want to run one of these bots in a test environment, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you further up, you'll see I've got system prompts, and at the moment, I'm just taking the latest system prompt, putting it into a new session in a different tab, running it, and then coming
and
back.
Would you want to be typing directly to it?
Yes, probably, because at the start, take customer agent interaction bot. I would be then pretending to be a customer agent and seeing, for example, creates.
Yeah, and so how would you expect to tell me that you'd had enough and you wanted to jump out?
Well, I could just say exit or something like that. Or,
who interpreted exit?
Well, here's the thing: if we were to say, remember backchat, if we were to say at any point.
So if I said backchat exit, exit, then you'd want to jump back to where you were just before, right?
Well, possibly, but not even further down the line, when there's more than just a trivial thing. If I said backchat : which means I'm now talking to backchat, list me all my my open agents, and you get timestamp. Maybe somebody would be very nice.
So I go backchat, show me all bots, and then one of those bots would be the customer interaction bot.
Right. And
so does that mean then that every time you start a new bot, you're starting it as a peer? So it's this big flat thing of bots? Every bot you ever made for any purpose?
During test, yeah, because...
Right. Yeah, okay, maybe I could live with that. And then with this particular session that you're in right now, this would be considered the controlling session of the peers that were being instantiated at the request of this session, right? So even though the process is a peer, it's still controlled by this process, even though it's not a child relationship.
Yes.
Does it sound good?
It does, because what I want to do is, for this specific task of building a CRM, I'm using how to identify all the bots, and then I told it what a template is. We worked on the template, and I said, build me a customer service agent bot. Then what I'd like to do is, right, okay, let me go and test.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, not quite right, and I'm to intervene and that sort of thing. And then go back to Hal saying, okay, right, we've forgotten this. In fact, you see some of the...
Right, so you'd go in,
like,
you'd be like,
think something like that.
Run the customer bot, Hal would start it up. You go in there, you do a bunch of stuff, you'd come out and be, it's not quite right. You'd jump out, back to Hal, re-edit the session prompt, run it again, do some more stuff, jump back out.
When you run it again, the previous test is like historical. Okay, so you've now moved on.
But I tell you what you really want though is you want to say, Hal, rerun my previous interactions, and then it fires up
previous similar named bots. Yeah.
No, because you modify the bot prompt, and then you're like, Hal, rerun that bot again, so that your interactions get replayed, but with the new session prompt. That's sort of what you want, right?
Yeah, I remember. I think it was about Traceability 3. You tried to do it manually, and it was just
horrific, huh?
Hours to get anywhere.
Right, but that's a time saving. That's a nifty little feature.
Oh, hugely.
Okay, now when you did that second instantiation, what happened to the first one? Where is that thread now? Is it deleted, merged? What's happened to it?
Oh, sorry, are you talking hypothetically, or what was doing this morning?
No. So you just started custom agent interaction bot, and now you're running it, right?
Yeah.
Then you were like, exit, and you came back. You were like, backchat, save me, and then it went back to Hal.
Yep.
Right. Then you modified the sys prompt for custom agent interaction bot, and then you ran it again.
Yep.
Is that a brand new session? It has to be, right?
Yes, it has to be, because it's
okay. What happened to the old one? Yeah. Where did the old one go, and where would you expect to find it?
I would expect it to be a running session. So if I say show me all my bots, it would do a timestamp.
Okay, so if you did this for say half an hour, you would not be offensed by the fact that you would have say 10 different versions of the customer agent interaction bot that were all just dangling there.
No, maybe being able to delete a session would be nice.
Who's going to clean them up?
Well, this is the delete. If I go back and say, right, I'm now at version 10 of this bot, quite happy with that.
Wipe everything else.
Go back to backchat and saying, wipe all the customer agent bots except the last one.
Right, but it's not a customer agent bot. It's a session with a bot that was in a particular state.
Agent. Sorry. Yes. So a list of agents are the running instances. So it's like, give me a list of all my agents that are currently running, permissions for. I've got 10 customer agent interaction bot agents.
Right. And then I'd be, so you could have some intelligent tools that'd be like, kill everything except the most recent one, things like that. And then, so those would have been Git branches that would be, they would be closed. So they would be merged back in with this main, they would, because they're peers. So you had Hal, then you had your session. Then you made a peer that was the instance of the bot, and you made all these peers. And then when you delete them, I guess the original would say delete, and then the peer would the branch would merge in, and then that branch would be deleted. But the history is still there in Git because you can see that it merged. It was like a destructive merge, like it came in and then it deleted.
Yeah, it's a bit like an archive, isn't it? I don't know how large that would get, how quickly.
But I don't think it's terribly large because we can do. I guess I don't want to worry about that now, just because I'm like it's definitely manageable, and the cost of the AI is more than the cost of the storage. So it's sort of, I mean, it's not free, but it's sort of free compared to the AI cost.
Yeah. Well, for the time being, a better word other than delete would be just archive, as in if I say archive everything except the last customer agent session.
Yeah.
And then let's say show me all my agents, all the ones that have been archived don't show up. So now I can then run the latest session and I pop into where we're left off. With that.
Okay, and so backchat is your navigator between branches, right? When you're like,
it's like popping out to the Explorer or Finder window. Yeah.
Okay, and when I'm inside one of these bots are not necessarily aware of backchat. So Hal would be programmed to be backchat aware because Hal might need to call backchat to achieve your goals, right? And then
this is the tricky bit. I think I mentioned on text. It's like you want that Overwatch. So if you're in a newly built, it's just prompt agent, and you see backchat, it's going to go. I don't know. It's probably going to give you some shade.
No, so that I can. There's two ways I can do that. I can intercept the keyword backchat, so that it never even makes it into the new bot. Or
a button. I think this is a good point for a button because it's a different kind of thing.
No, I don't want buttons because a button can't be controlled by voice, and a button can't be controlled from afar. Like it can't be controlled in a test environment. Like you can't mimic backchat being called as part of your test suite.
But having that oversight. At any point you can keyword backchat, and then you're into a whole bunch of functions like show me all my agents, and you go, oh right, and then you go right, drop me into.
But I would also expect that when I'm in HAL and I go show me all your agents, it would know to call backchat to ask for the list of agents.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
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 So we can prompt the bot to be backchat aware, but it's not required. So for example, customer agent interaction bot would not be backchat aware. And so when I say the word backchat, it's going to intercept that string, and it's going to...
Yeah, because what you don't want to do is have to have a line in every agent that you've ever made.
No, you don't, because you want the agents to be as focused as possible. So the second way that we can do it is something that there's always two AI calls that happen. So you send in the prompt, the same prompt goes off to, let's call it the backchat checker, and also the real bot. The real bot's response begins, but it is not committed until the backchat checker has returned and said, go ahead. And in that way, you can have an intelligence process the text so that it can be much more sloppy. And if the backchat checker is like, oh, hey, that's someone calling for help, then it will discard whatever the bot did and will put you into backchat.
Yeah.
So that's the other way we can do it. So I think that the second way is more elegant, but I don't have the tooling in place to be having those parallel calls going on right now. But if we start with just the keyword that's hard-coded and we move to the more graceful thing, because there's going to need to be these concurrent checks that happen, like, you know, was this hate speech? Is this moderatable text that we need to actually intercept? Could it like, you can have background tasks like, was this a request for a note to be taken, or was this a side channel thing? Or, you know, you can tack on a lot of these parallel tasks that are quite useful to the human by making like several parallel calls and then only proceeding when certain results come back.
Yeah, and that's essentially what I was trying to do with that HAL v3. An interesting one, actually. If you try ask it, say, I'd like to buy a dog, which we've not mentioned, I think, or some. No, maybe I have, because I tested this. I want to buy a tree.
I want to buy a tree. Yeah?
Yeah. Now, what it should do is now shift session.
Right. So that's that same parallel call ability is also what we would use for doing this different temperature setting thing as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be like 3 parallel calls. You wait for them all to come back, and then you scrunch them into a prompt and send them off, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what kind of in VP. That's the reason it has 3 guesses, which is effectively all the serial.
I like that, man. I like that a lot. Like if that was genuinely,
and then you tell it. I was really rude to it, saying you got this wrong in the system prompts, so it's always going to be wrong. And then choose the.
So that's really good for creative tasks, right? Like tasks that require a lot of thinking will benefit from that 3 different things, right?
I'm getting really, really good stuff from it by just saying, right, number 1, do exactly what I say. Number 2, think around the overall goal, but don't go too far off. And number 3, go for it. Get all the responses back, and then reflect back on your original task, what you're trying to do here.
That's really cool. Okay, so I don't know how I'm going to do that just yet, but I'll keep thinking about it. So I'm going to...
Hey, it's all right. Look, would you like to proceed with a new topic of buying a tree, or do you want to continue with CRM bot prompts? If you choose to proceed, I will name the current session 1. Right, just say, right, tell me about trees.
Tell me about trees.
Okay, now there's
That's pretty good. So we'd need to reflect that in the UI where we'd sort of block off the session, and then like that'll be a good chance to clear the buffer.
Oh, sorry. Okay. You say, yes, I want to talk about trees.
Yes, I want to talk about trees.
I've not done too much testing on this, but what I should do is now I'll move you into it's not a new session, of course.
Yeah, but if we could make that a function call,
Right, there you go. Right, so it said, right, we've got a new session on trees now. Just say, what kind of tree can I put in my garden?
All right, so we could build you a little system here that answered the question, show me all my sessions, and then we'd sort of have them in files, and then right. So that would give us a chance.
Try it now. Yeah, if you put in show me all my sessions now.
No, I know what will happen. Right. I'm talking about like we need a chance to clear the buffer because otherwise this fucking thing gets huge.
Yeah, I guess.
And so it sounds like if I could give you a function that you called it and it would actually trim the session and then store it in a file, then you'd be able to dance between them.
Yeah.
And so
importantly, the key thing on this one is this is a hack. So this is a stub, but what how V3 does at the moment is maintain an idea of your context and then knows when you've changed the topic. And at the moment, I've just said, name the previous session 1. You're now talking about session 2. Talk about session 2, and then you can recall session 1. But it's all in the same prompt. But it's just a stub. What would be preferable is whatever we put in there in order to take the instance, generate the agent.
Yeah, because I really need to do that because these sessions get large.
Yeah.
And you can't just go on forever. Like we need a.
No, I was testing out whether I could get how just through natural language to know when to trigger a new session.
No, that's great. So it looks like you clearly did that. That's amazing. Like, I think if I gave you the function and even just wired it in, it'd probably already figure out to call it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just drop that into it, and if it's a command or whatever it is, then I'll just take out the pretend you're in a new session thing.
Yeah. Sweet.
So it's quite nice, but it's also quite nice because I didn't the instructions about how to deal with change of topic in this context window right at the top in this session, right at the top.
Yeah.
And it still remembered it. We've talked about a lot in this thread, and it's like
I guess that's a sign of their model training getting better, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Well, that's the needle in the haystack test, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is only going to get better.
Yeah, right. Okay, so man, can I go over this one more time just to make sure I got it?
Yep.
So you would want to come in here. You've managed to generate your bot. You would say, Hal, run the customer agent interaction bot. It would then go, okay, and then what you would observe is that this whole thing would just blank and become effectively a new session. The name of the image being run would change from Hal v3 to blah, blah, blah bot.
Yep.
Then you'd start chatting. And then when you got to a certain point, you'd say, backchat quit, maybe.
Something like that. I mean, at the moment, for example, if you were to start talking about the CRM, if you add in right now, let's talk about the customer agent. It's been talking about trees. That's your session. So what should happen is then you switch back the session. Now I don't know whether that's
what? No,
too much.
You've now. Let's say you just made the stupidest fucking bot. It's got like one line of prompt, right? It knows nothing about backchat. It knows nothing about session management or anything like that, right? And you're currently talking with it, and now you want to get out.
But ideally what I'd want to do, well, this is probably too much, but for example, backchat, and I want to talk about the customer agent. Backchat, ideally would be
like
aware
backchat, so
of the
it wouldn't.
sessions.
So you don't want to. You want to go. Fuck. So okay. So from the top. Sorry, I need to do it like this because this fucking does my head in, this whole thing. Because it's like 3 fucking dimensions, right? You're like the file system dimension, the history dimension of commits, and then the branch dimension of and I'm like,
Quite gnarly.
my fucking brain. Okay, so from the top, we're in a session with Hal. We made a bot. The bot is called.
Well, we're TreeBot now. We don't care, Effectively, let's call it TreeBot because we've got these 2 sessions.
Okay, now we got TreeBot.
Yeah.
TreeBot is just a stupid bot that basically its system prompt consists of a single character, which is the tree emoji.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would do.
Well, it can even be a blank, photo instance. Think I'm able to do that?
Have faith, my friend. Have faith.
So it did. Oh, that's cute.
Look at that. It counted as 2 characters. Because it's it's an emoji character, which is two normal characters.
All right. Now, what I was saying is, we'll leave out the keyword backchat, because that's the thing that breaks it back out. But what I'd want to do at this point is ask a question that could be backchat could go into my running sessions and saying, you want to talk about customer agent? Okay, right, that's the session. And I can...
Mate, I lost you. Where are we? So right now, I just made TreeBot.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
What am I doing now?
Right. Just assume the word backchat because it might confuse it because it doesn't know anything about backchat. But just say, I want to...
No, I don't tell me what to say. What are you trying to do?
What I'm trying to do is write in... I'm now talking to TreeBot.
Yeah. No. So hang on. When are you talking? We are not talking to TreeBot right now. You want to talk to TreeBot?
Okay. So we're talking what Hal is doing right now, as opposed to
right now. The next shit. Sorry, that was me hitting the actual screen with my hand, which was not what was meant to happen. Because my screen's about here.
Oh, your physical screen.
Physical screen. Yeah.
All right. Dear. So what would
oh dear.
What would want to do? Okay, so in the backchat world, I want to say something like backchat. I need to get back to work on the customer agent.
No. You're in Hal. We are in this session, right?
Right. Okay.
You wanted to. The scenario we were going through was something like right.
So
I want
run TreeBot. Let's talk about trees.
I want to run TreeBot, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd hit that, and what would happen is in this same screen, you would see this happen. It would be exactly this. It would go blank. And then the only difference would be that instead of Hal v3, it would show TreeBot.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You hesitated.
No. I hesitated because I've got another ask at the end of this. But yes. So
what's the other ask?
The other ask is, how would you pass back some information from TreeBot back to another session?
Oh my god.
But we don't need to go there yet.
No, I need actually I need all your requests because it's easier to do them all at once than it is to incrementally do them one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just check off this session, and then I'll, if you don't mind, I'll come back to your other session right there. So TreeBot has started. Instead of Hal v3, you see TreeBot. You start chatting. You're like, "Hello, I'm a tree." Blah blah blah, and its system prompt is the tree emoji. So who the fuck knows what it's going to do? And then at some point, you're like, "Backchat, get me out of this psycho tree."
Or more helpfully, backchat, I need to get back to work on the customer agent. And it would then be aware of the running agent.
Now, how did it know that? Because that is backchat the same as Hal?
I think
It might be,
that context switching thing might be better off in backchat, because the Hal has got two parts to the prompt at the moment. The first one is to make sure it knows what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the second one is if you switch context, it does that session 1, session 2 thing.
Yeah,
Essentially, it's a different function.
Right.
That feels like it should be in backchat.
The context.
Yeah, so it's like if there's a context switch, see if backchat...
No, because backchat is discerning your intent is something that you need to do while you're sitting down with a cup of coffee and a newspaper, as opposed to something that you're yelling out the window as you do a drive-by on. Like, backchat is supposed to be like a urgent, brief, in a hurry, because you don't get a lot of UI here. You don't get a lot of chat space. You know?
Well, maybe that context switch is in Hal, but the reason I was thinking about that is what we don't want to do is the context switch inside of the agent, the tree agent. So the system prompt and the tree agent should not know about context switch. We've got keyword backchat.
Right. Yeah, backchat. I would have thought brings us out to a backchat bot, where the backchat bot is not meant to be smart. It's meant to be very limited in what it can do, very brief. It's really just your navigator, like your.
So how would we, if I wanted the functionality I would expect from here is I need to get back to the customer agents. It would look through all the running agents, choose the right one for you. If it's ambiguous, maybe ask a question.
Right,
and then prop it back, as opposed to what you otherwise need
we
to
could
do.
We could make backchat. Yeah, we could make backchat be session aware. So if Hal was in charge of determining when a new session should occur, it's a much simpler task to look at the list of sessions and determine which one is being spoken about. Right? Like, so if backchat is like, I need to get back to the customer agent, and it would go, okay, he's either talking about the previous session he was in, or he's talking about, like there's a limited number of things that you could be talking about when you hail backchat, right?
Yeah, and maybe backchat can't be as smart as I'd like it to be. For example, I'd like to put in here, instead of...
Smart means wordy. Smart means wordy. That's kind of the trade-off, right?
Well, yeah.
Because your howls have gotten increasingly more wordy as they've gotten more smart. Backchat can't be smart because it's sort of it's a side channel. It's a back channel.
Yeah, so it's probably not there. But what the action I'm trying to get from this, well, it's a wish list thing. We can easily do it like, just give me a numbered list and then go to number 3 or whatever. But what would be much better is, for example, say, take me back to my CRM work. Now, there's no agent on that one. It would look through the agents and saying, which of these agents have you been working on a CRM with?
Right.
And then it'll pop you back out to that one. That would be really very graceful.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty easy to do, because if backchat was topic aware, Do you think you could rename sessions to topics? Because I've already been using sessions to refer to
sure. For sure.
the thread that you're in there.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about topics, right? More than sessions, because a session can be multi-topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if we make backchat topic aware, but it's not able to discern topics, like it can't create topics, but it can definitely pick from the list of topics. Like, right? Like, because backchat's like, well, there's only like 20 fucking things that you've done in your worthless life so far, so it's gonna be easy to pick the best one.
Right. And so if I say, shit, I need to get back to the CRM.
Yeah, and then if it doesn't know, it picks the default. It's like, oh fuck, I don't know, and then it drops you into Hal, where Hal gets the note from backchat saying, "Hey Hal, I don't know what the fuck this guy wants, but this is what he said." Right?
That's right. And then
Hal's like, shit.
Hal was back to, can you please state what you're
Yeah, please clarify.
Open the pod debate.
Okay, so is that an acceptable?
Yeah.
Right, because I can't make backchat smart because you don't have the back and forth with backchat. You want backchat to be a one-liner kind of a guy. You're like, move. He's like a cab driver versus a psychologist.
Yeah.
He's not there to fucking figure out who you are.
How would backchat, what would be the flow in backchat on that command I just asked for? So I need to get back to the CRM.
So you're in TreeBot right now, right?
Yep.
Like that?
Yeah.
And
so
then
what would happen next?
What would happen in the background, you mean, or what would the flow be? What would the user experience, or what would happen in the background?
What would happen in the background, and where's
in the background? So I would intercept this whole text prompt and not send it to the tree bot. I would instead send it to the backchat bot. The backchat bot would be prompted with, here's the summary of the last 5 topics. Pick one, or go back to the default session, which is Hal. Right? And then it would be like, can I discern one that sounds like the CRM? Yes. If yes, then it plops you back into that session. If no, then it plops you back into Hal with a little note saying, fuck, I don't know what this fucking dude's on.
Can you find out what it means?
Yeah, interrogate this guy. Right, does that sound okay?
That sounds brilliant.
Okay. All right, so right now you hit that, and then assuming that it figures it out correctly, it's going to do exactly this. Fuck me. Hang on, exactly this. Fuck me again. That. It's going to do that.
Yes. But also, now you've got the additional...
Right, and now you're right back...
of the tree, but now you're back talking about the CRM.
Yeah. Because you're... Right. And it's that you're back at Hal v3, your sessions... The only difference would be the line that you said, I want to start the tree bot.
Yep.
And then you'd have this extra ability to go, show me all my bots. And then you'd have tree bot would be showing in that list now because you just invoked it. And it's basically sitting there open. Right?
Yep. Yeah. And then
okay.
Backchat. I don't need tree bot. Yeah. Okay.
Backchat, kill all the trees,
and if the agent.
Well, no, because then what it should do there is if you'd made multiple versions. What?
Sorry, go on.
If you'd invoked multiple versions of TreeBot as you were working on it, it should know that you've got these like 4 TreeBots that have been started. And it's when you're like kill all the trees, it should be like, oh yep, cool, I'm gonna wipe all those bots.
Yeah.
Right.
And to be polite, it should state what it's about to do. Like,
yeah, yeah,
in case you actually do want to go out and kill all the trees,
right.
not the G-bots. That's the, I can do a prompt for backchat just on that. It just needs the hooks in the background for how to do it. But I can. This is very close to the context switching thing.
It's close, eh? It's just
Yeah.
such a fucking. It's quite a mind-boggling thing, but I can see that when we get it right, it'll seem really natural. It's just to wrap our heads around it now seems really awkward.
It's just it's just like
because it's like, who am I? I am this thing, and now I'm this other thing, and now I'm talking to this backstage thing that dropped me back to the thing I was before, and now, like, who am I? And then I shared it with this other user, and now there's two of us.
Yeah. But each stage, it's really just comes down to, who am I, and what do you want?
Who am I?
Where did that come from?
What does it mean?
That was it. That was the two really scary ancient alien races. One had a tagline, "Who are you?" Another one, "What do you want?" God, where did I come up with that? That's very old.
All right, now, so there was another thing you said that was your extra ask. Can you tell me that again?
Yes, that is. I'd like to, when moving back from an agent, carry some of that information back over.
What information, and how would I know?
So, I don't know. But for example, if I was to take us, it's the equivalent of the cut and paste.
Okay, can I give you an example? Can I give you an example of things I know how to do easily, and hopefully one of them is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
While I was in tree session in TreeBot, I asked it to make a new file named wood.txt. Would you like to access wood.txt? No. Okay.
What does wood.txt include?
Anything. It could be anything. It's just a file that I made in this other bot, and I'm passing it back.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That would be perfectly acceptable, wouldn't it? So you'd be in trees, and you go right. Something like.
Okay. Is the relationship
all the information about emojis into a file? And then
is the relationship with Hal one that's a look down relationship? Like, if I was to say here, read in the entire tree session, and you'd want Hal to ingest that?
Yeah. And then I'll tell you.
So that's not passing information back. That's having access to the information from Hal.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Why did you say pass it back? Is there some utility you see in giving a response back to Hal?
No, not at this level. It's just to avoid how, at the moment, I would put it into, or cut and paste it back in and saying, read this session, but, dash, dump it in, dash. It'd be quite nice to not do that, because then it's a bit ephemeral and, something's getting lost and that sort of thing. So,
okay, so if I was to do, or if I ran the ls command and I could actually see that I had some bots, like I said, show me, what was the name of my last bot session, then it would be like, it was treebot-001, and then I was like, I could read the files, I could read the commits, I could read the session. Basically, you'd want to be able to take your pick of anything contained within that agent at any point in time and pull it into the current session for your amusement and utility, right? Yeah, and that would be enough?
So I'll give you an example to make sure we're in sync here. Imagine a bot that's making recipes for Lamb Rock and Josh.
Yeah.
You messed around with it. There's lots of rubbish ones. And then the last one, what I want to be able to say is, great, save that last one. Backchat, get me back out to what I was meant to be doing. And
Save
then,
that last one. Where would you want it to go?
in a file inside of wherever the Lamrog and Josh bot session was.
Okay, so in the branch that's running the Lamrogue and Josh bot, you'd make a
Versus-
file called lamrogueandjosh.md.
Yeah.
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 And then you'd go backchat, take me back to backchat, take me back to my
how,
last
and then
topic,
and then
and bring the Rogue and Josh file with you.
well,
Right?
sure. I mean, or if I could access like through a directory structure, I could come back to how and see how ask the Rogan Josh agent for the recipe. Okay, all right, here it is. So it's identifying and fetching.
Right. So okay. So I'd be like, so one way to do it that is a stretch goal for me is backchat, take me back to Hal and bring the Lamrogue and Josh with you, and then you'd expect to be dropped into Hal and this file appears with you as well. That's like for extra points, but it's sufficient to say backchat, take me back to Hal. You go back to Hal. You go, Hal, grab the Lamrogue and Josh from the last agent. It goes into the agent, pulls out the file, puts it now into Hal on the file system.
That's perfectly acceptable. That second one, the stretch one, is, I'm not sure, adding much. Yeah.
Oh, you don't think that's adding much? But
no, you just you basically want to stash it and then be able to move around because, for example, I may want to go into how and then say backchat, take me into the calorie counter bot.
Yeah.
And then the calorie counter bot, I want to be able to see, would it be backchat? Backchat, get the recipe from my last Rog and Josh session, and then I go, boom, you're now in calorie bot. So calorie bot, tell me how many calories.
That's really interesting. So you're in calorie bot, and you're like, backchat, load the Rog and Josh.
Yeah.
And then backchat needs to know where the fuck the Rog and Josh is.
Yep. But it knows
based
that
on context. It should, because one thing to our advantage is we can know what files changed. So backchat can be aware of, when the session ends, it's like changed files, Rog and Josh, blah 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 blah, and so it's sort of aware at a high level of what you've been doing, but it's not aware of what's inside the files necessarily.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That could be done, and then okay. Now let's assume an unhappy path. Is it acceptable to say to?
Can you give me a second? I've got a knock at the door here for some reason.
Sure.
Shouldn't be on here. 2 seconds.
Hello. Hello, you back?
Oh yeah, damn, it's jarring to go from VR talking about this shit into real world. It's really confusing. It's a trivial matter.
A trivial matter. I love those.
Yes. Not if it interrupts the chain of thought. Yeah. So, it's a way of, and I think there's a recency kind of vector here, isn't there?
Yeah. So it's not going to go forever, but all right. So, one more time. Then you're in calorie bot, and you're like, oh no, that's right. I was going to ask you for an erroneous path, so a bad path.
Yeah.
You're in calorie bot. You're like, backchat, bring the Rog and Josh, and it's like, sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. What then?
Then drop, refer to the previous default, backchat drops you into HAL and says, Dave's looking for Rob and Josh.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. I think what should happen is your session is notably taken over, so it's sort of like almost like a modal pops up, sort of like that. And then this is actually a chat directly with backchat when it's like, hey, sorry, shit, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
And it's sort of it's hurriedly trying to whisper you through and it's like, just a little bit more help, man. I don't know what you mean. What the fuck is, what is that? What is this?
Yeah, that's a better way. And
right?
It shows you all your open sessions for each session.
Yeah. Like it's like, I think if we can make backchat it's a tool that you do for, it's your way of navigating all the commits, the file system, the agents, because I guess an easier way to think of branch is if you thought of a branch as an agent, then it takes on a slightly simpler meaning, I think.
Yeah.
And so backchat is your way of navigating agents, aka branches, files within the agents, and history of the agents all at once. Yeah. And so if it's focused only on that, I mean, that's a mind-boggling amount of stuff anyway, but it can't really do much else other than pass you.
Well, you know what? That's really quite nice. So if backchat, if you ask it something weird, like give me the I don't know, my last Chinese recipe.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, it's going to be like, hey, do you want to talk to Hal instead?
And then there's the always go back to Hal.
Yeah. Right. So it's basically, it pops up this.
Tries to figure out what you're meaning.
Yeah. I think what you want, I think what you want is it pops up the. If you say something weird, it pops up the little narrow view that says, hey, I don't know what you mean. What do you want? Do you want to talk to Hal? And then you might be able to sort it out with a little bit more clarification here. If it needs to be deeper, it would drop you back to Hal.
Well, yes, but I'd simplify it a bit. If in that bullet list there you had a list of your sessions and a list of your files, and then you could talk to backchat and saying, just read out the name of the file. Then it's found the file. It goes back to what you're saying.
Right.
So
it pops up, and by default it acts like Finder in Mac.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And there's always a go back to Hal thing if you can't find it.
Right. So if you were in backchat, you said some absolute gibberish. It pops up the what the fuck window, and then you say, give me Hal, and then it's going to drop you out of the backchat window and then switch your session back to Hal with what you just said, so that Hal knows what's, like, it tells tales on you, like it's like, hey Hal, I couldn't help Dave here because, you know, he wants this and he wants this, and we were.
It's a bit like calling up, I don't know, a receptionist, and she's no idea what you're asking. And
right, but she's super friendly.
She's
super, right, she's really cute, and it, like, we can show, you know, helpful pictures of kittens and whatever to make you calm down because you're probably mad. But, like, backchat could also file a complaint. You're like, I want to file a stuck. And then it'd direct you to the stuck bot. Right. And it would bring all the context with you, and it's like, stuck bot, you're being called with, here's the last agent that we were talking to. This is Dave. Dave's mad. Blah blah. Right.
Over to you, big guy. Yeah, you're probably that.
Right. So the backchat's the receptionist. Yeah. Super efficient. Has the whole switchboard of the entire company at her disposal, but doesn't really know how to do any of the jobs.
And can't answer any kind of, you know, complex questions beyond what she can actually click through on her.
Right. And so that's a way for you to very quickly move big chunks of files around at a payload level, so you're not passing them through the token window. Right. You're just moving. You're passing by reference instead of by value, and so you've got this reference to this file, and it's like over here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's sounding pretty fucking good, my man.
Got one more. Well,
Another
the
ask?
next request would on the same scenario.
Okay.
I probably want to at some point, because if it's just in a session, and then I say to the receptionist, right, delete all my sessions except my last one, and it's like, shit, I've just lost my recipe. So I want somewhere to stash that.
Stash it? What do you mean stash it?
Yeah, I want to be able to
recover something that was deleted?
Recover the end result. So a recipe is an end result, right? It's an output.
Yeah.
It's not a session. It's not an agent.
It's a file.
It's a file, right?
Yeah.
So I want to be able to just say, right, stash that somewhere.
So is you want to stash it, but you'd accidentally deleted it?
No. Well, at the moment, if it's under session, if it's under the agent, I say delete that agent.
Yeah.
Then presumably the file goes.
Right.
Well,
and so so you want to so let me try run that scenario then.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, delete all the agents. Okay, it does it. Now there's no agent showing, and then you're like, shit, I forgot to get my Rogan Josh recipe out of the last agent. Get it back.
Yep.
And then, okay, so to do the file recovery, it would know what the commit was where the agent was merged back in and deleted.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would look up that commit and browse the file. So backchat would know how to browse. It can also browse commits, and so it would know how to navigate to the agent the last known commit of the agent. It would fire that up, and it would show you the contents of the directory structure at that point.
Yeah. Here's another scenario. Let's test this. So you delete all your agents. You go off on holiday. You come back 2 weeks later and go, shit. Roughly 2 weeks ago, I had a Rogan Josh recipe. Can I get that back, please? Which is a similar thing to
that would make you a massive dick. So in that case, you would be asking for a more advanced feature, I think, because you'd be trying to do some searching where. Oh no, hang on, an idea is forming. So we could make a bot called the recovery bot.
Mm-hmm.
It was loaded up with the ability to walk back commit by commit over the contents of any agent. And so you could instruct the recovery bot to go looking for things that sound like Rogan Josh.
That's exactly it. So imagine, well, what I've been doing is throwing up a large number of hounds, and this is the indexing problem. I was thinking I was going to have to put it into a spreadsheet, which I hate. But instead, it's like you go to backchat stroke receptionist saying, I'm sure I had a meeting roughly last month, and it was about shoes. In that, can you bring back the result of that or a summary of that?
Right.
So that you can then find it, and then that you can now bring that session back and go back and start to talk to the agent that you were talking to back. But it's like it's in the back store,
right?
It's like, but you need something to go off and find this thing that you only vaguely remember where it is. But
so that's the recovery process there, and there's plenty of ways we could architect bots to do that, but one of them is to just commit by commit walk back in time, and then only when they find something that sounds suitable, push it out.
Well, I think that's right, and we could put some vague intelligence into that, such that if you say last month,
I think the ultimate or the sort of the high grade version of that is that we should be summarizing the activity and the topics constantly, so that we'd just go look up the summaries, so that instead of having to trawl the raw data directly, we would always keep track of these summaries would be the best way, but I don't think we have the time to put that in place.
We don't
just
need
now.
that, and for the time being, if I have that facility, I'd be quite happy to sit there for 30 seconds while it's solved.
I know, right?
Because the alternative is like 20 minutes of hunting and pecking
Mm.
around your file system and your emails.
Yeah, right. And by then you've forgotten what you were going to say in the first place.
And then you get interrupted.
Yeah. So how I was going to actually use that tool is to be able to just drop a side note, like, you know, if you're doing one thing and then you think about something that's important for some other task you got going on, I'd want to be able to just blurt that out and be like, file it, and then it would go and spend 30 seconds finding the correct place to put that. So I like gave it a thing and some hints about where it belongs, and then it did the trawling. That's what I'd really want.
Oh, you could do that. I mean, that's equally nice. So you'd say file that under recipes.
Yeah, and then it'd go off and find it.
My only hesitation of that is that's it's a bit like last year in terms of what we're trying to do, because then you've got to kind of have a conceptual idea of what effectively is.
Look, I'm just telling you what that's what I struggle with every day. It may be that once we have the system and I use it every day, I make a new kind of problem, but that would make me happy.
It's a good one.
That would make me very happy.
You know, I had a session. Well, here's the one I usually give, isn't it? It's like last year, I remember talking to an agent about what to buy my wife for Christmas.
Yeah.
For Christmas. Can you get back what I've said there so I don't get the same present twice, because that'd be bad.
Right. So that would have some more intelligence, because it would be like, oh, I've got a temporal range. Okay, I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to sample in between, and I'm going to see how I.
Yeah, but it's all there.
Yeah.
It's just seek. And if you take a minute to come back, it's saved you, tens of minutes or hours even.
Yeah.
Or probably you just give up and buy her the same present and then get in the ship.
Okay. Well, mate, that sounds good. You had some more asks?
Yes. No, that's. I'll keep trying.
Now's a great time to mention it. I mean.
So what we're talking really about there is being able to have an agent is effectively like a tab, and we've got a way through natural language to move between tabs.
Right.
We've got a way for
backchat navigates you through the tabs.
And then pull stuff into other agents.
Yeah.
And
pass by
then,
reference.
Yeah, and then archive the whole thing off when you're not going to need it until next Christmas.
Right.
And then retrieve from kind of the archive, and then spin it up again, and away you go.
Right.
The only other thing we haven't covered is when bots talk to bots without, Dave having to do any interaction. So
yeah,
one bot
okay, all right,
another, and then returns a response.
How the fuck? Yeah, that's right. So the other thing that I would want to be able to say here is okay, Hal, I want you to tell the tree bot if it can see any wood. And so what I'd expect here is that I'm still in Hal, but Hal invoked the tree and then spoke to it for me.
Yep. And then the tree bot got back to Hal, and then Hal says, "Here's what tree bot says."
Right.
There's a second order to that, of course. Say if we'd had a deciduous bot, and we asked a question about deciduous, and so went to treebot. So Hal, on your behalf, said Dave wants to know about deciduous trees. And treebot goes, I don't really know. However, I do know deciduous bot. I'm going to ask it. And then
right. Yeah, right.
bot comes back.
Right. Okay. That sounds kind of good. Here's another one for you. How ask 10 instances of treebot about 10 different kinds of tree. So that I would expect it to fire up 10 tree bots.
Yeah.
On my behalf, and then come back with the response.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Which
that's a legitimate ask, right?
It's similar to the how3 prompt, which is give me an exact kind of curious and a really creative, freaky version.
Right. So then another valid question is how repeat my last question to treebot, but do it in 4 different instances with a range of different temperatures.
Yeah.
That's really what you want to say, right?
Yeah.
And then that would let you play with that multi-temperature thing.
Right, and also, ideally, I'm not sure how we'd do this, but ideally, it's like you give me different models. You maybe not ask Dave to know what a model is, but you say, give me 3 different opinions about this statement. And
you mean you want to use like Claude, Gemini,
and Llama, and that sort of thing?
All right, so first I'd be like, how run a new instance of treebot with the same question, but use a different AI model for each one. And what I'd expect there is it's like how would know what models are available. It's like okie dokie, and then it like fires up, 10 treebots.
Yep, exactly. And
okay, hey man, it's starting to sound fun. Yep, that is starting to sound fun.
I think would be very, very helpful in terms of speed. But the multi-model thing, I think, could be very interesting in terms of quality.
Right. Okay.
And
so you could have like multiple model, multiple temperature, and then consider all the things coming back, right?
Right. And if you add that into a bot, as another bot, what you could do is, right, okay, I've got this really tricky problem. Let's talk to 3 models with 3 different temperatures, and I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to hand it off to some kind of marking scheme.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to come back with a good one, sort of thing. That's the cream.
Okay.
Because what you get is a very, very high. You're likely to get the best.
You're always going to get the best, Yeah, because the best is obvious when it's presented, but it's often not the first one that a model returns.
Right. Yeah.
That's a great system. Man, that's a really great system.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, man, that's fucking devastating. So you'd be like Claude, Gemini, 4.0, Llama.
Yeah.
3 temperature settings each.
How naughty the question is.
You
can even have a number of variations. I mean, so I'm not asking for this, but it actually falls out free from it. You could have someone putting in a research question, and the first step is reframe that research question and reframe it with 3 different temperatures, 3 different models. Judge what's the best one, and send that out to 3 different models, 3 different temperatures, and then you get something.
Well,
really
another way is you could do it first with just 4.0, and then you could assess the variance that came from the responses. And if it was a high variance, then you can call on more models as well, so you can know if it's a type of question that would respond well to that type of diversity.
Yeah, and then depending on how big your pockets are with tokens, you could run that same thing as many times as you want at literally any level of depth. Where each prompt is being split into 3 different ways of asking that prompt, and then you've got the computational explosion, and it's coming back in, and now you can get the statistical analysis with an assurance of the probability of your answer is
and then it goes even more wild if you can hook up browsing to those bots so that they can go and fetch extra data as well. So if there's a nugget out there, you're probably going to find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, look, I feel like I got the answer that I needed from you. I think I know how to stitch the interface together. Okay.
Grand.
I'll go and do it.
The bot whipping stuff is coming off nicely. I was delighted yesterday when I managed to get consistently free to
That's funny.
I recognise that you were going off piste.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I was gonna make a little UI widget thing here once I get metering hooked up, where like when it starts running and burning tokens, it'll have like a spinny bar that spins at the rate of your token burn. But if it spawns multiple concurrent calls, it'll indicate to you how many concurrent calls are running as well. Plus, so the bar will get way more intense, but also you'll get a number or a size indication of how many tokens are coming out. So like, if it was a circular progress bar and you had 100 agents, it would become quite this massive swirl. No.
Okay. I'm not one for design, but that sounds like I'm just gonna have a heart attack if it gets big and big.
Well, you should. You should. Like, did you mean to call on 1,000 concurrent bots? Like, like you probably want to.
It's gonna end up half your screen.
Oh, I mean, what do you want to do extra? You got 1,000 bots working for you. Do you want to like?
I don't know. The other thing I'd say is nobody really ever believes those busy bars because
this one is dollars.
Shoot up to 95%.
No, this one is not a busy bar. This is dollars being burned, and it's happening only when I register against your account, which is multiple times a second. And if you're running concurrent agents, your dollar progress bar is going down.
Well, if you need that, then we need a big stop button.
Like a halt button. Yeah, right. So that should be the opposite of the prompt. So ChatGPT has that. Like when it's generating, it's got a stop button.
The go button.
The stop should be right next to the go button. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know for a fact that I will hit some complication when implementing this, but that sounds like the furthest that we've been able to see.
Well, I'm actually confident that with the tooling and prompting we've got at the moment,
right?
Plus, and I've not really used them. The commands you've already got to stash and retrieve. Well, actually, it would be good to get just my head around exactly what the commands are for that. I can do the CRM, but it will be clunky without that bot talks to bot thing.
Bot to bot. Okay. All right. So that bit I'm still fuzzy on. I got an idea on what to go forth and do, but there'll be some hiccups and bumps. So I'll keep thinking about it, and I'll try and get through what we discussed today, and then just see how that plays out.
What's the just so I know for sure, what's the commands? For example, if take a a customer record. I wanted to append it to the list of customer records in the customer agent bot at the moment. How would I do that? And then how would I retrieve it?
Sorry?
If I wanted to search.
What?
So say if we're in customer agent bot, which we don't have. Well, actually we do have, but this is messed up with all meows and stuff. But what I want to do is the customer agent talks to the customer agent bot and saying, I would like to create John Smith at this address. I don't want that necessarily in the session. I want that to be appended to the text file where all the customer information is kept. And then I want to later on say retrieve John Smith's record, and then the customer service bot would read it in, search, bring it back. So the really kind of simple CRUD kind of commands, but with persistence. Persistence outside of the token limit in this session. Okay, so that's now kicking that off.
I think I know what you mean, but correct me.
Okay, so now it's now boom, and so
is that what you meant?
Yeah, sort of. Right, and this schema.
That's not bad. Come on,
not bad, isn't it? This schema is just made this up, right?
Yeah.
But when no, I can deal with that part. So I can tell it what the schema is.
Yeah.
The customer service agent. This is what customer means.
So what's the question?
The question is what's the commands that I would need to do in order to commit a create, update, or delete to a text file.
So that
and a read,
is,
but that's something separate.
Yeah. So that is given in this command is attached to HAL update.
Mm-hmm. So if I said, well, if we go back, if I was to say update John Smith's name to Tim Smith. And then, yeah, okay. Now
so that was very cheap on the tokens, yeah?
Yeah. Now where is that file?
What?
As in, if I created an entire new session.
It's only in this session. So what you're asking about? See, we got it there, but
okay, all right, no, that's good enough for now. Yeah.
Yeah, because what you're really asking about is a multi-session bot, where you want a bot that can have arbitrarily many sessions that can have an effect on the files that get pushed back up to the central place.
Yes, more specifically, right? Imagine I'll be trying to be more specific. Say we've got 3 custom agents with 8-hour shifts. One does CRUD on their customers, not literally, but then go off shift. Another one comes in with a new session and does CRUD on it. Next one, new session, and then you come back, and they're all calling from a central chunk of customers, because their sessions, what you wouldn't want to do when you come on a new shift is have to inherit the whole session from the previous shift, because that's going to eventually run out of context window. So you want a new session of a customer service agent. And then if you say, tell me who John Smith is, what you don't want to do is to have to go back through 2 months worth of sessions and try and figure it out.
No, you want to just look at the file system, right?
Right, exactly. So it's like, how do you load that up and then query that?
Well,
for CRUD in a separate session.
Each new session would carry all of the customer record files with it. So you'd be able to read it off the file system. Let me just think about this. So just in the same way as I can say, list the contents of the helps directory. So if you imagine that instead of helps, it's actually customers, it would give me this list of customer records. And so every session has a copy of these files.
Right. So
the issue really is, or one of the subtle issues is, what if I start talking about a particular file and then a concurrent session modifies that file? Is that what you're about to ask?
Yeah, so if there's two customer agents on at the same time.
Yeah, so I think what should happen there is that I need a way to track what specific files, if you talked about a specific file, I'm going to start watching that file for you in the master branch, so that like if you ask about John Smith or Tim Smith, then as you keep going, if someone else edits it, I'm going to inject something in your prompt that says, hey, just FYI, the file for Tim Smith was changed. Do you want to see what changed, or do you want to see what's new? You might not care, but that should be a notification to you, I think.
That's definitely nice to have. I was thinking more simple, in that if we were to spin up another HAL right now, completely blank session,
right,
and we were to say retrieve johnsmith.md,
right,
what's the format of the command? And it doesn't matter.
Right now you can't do that. I need to put that in for you because you're in an isolated Git branch, and there's no way to push between branches.
Right. Okay.
Which I think is what backchat needs to do, where I'm like, hey, backchat, merge this branch, right? Because backchat should merge. Merge is not something we can escape from. Git is beautiful, but it's a really difficult tool to use, and the concept of merge and conflict resolution are really what puts everyday people off of using it. But if it's sort of AI managed for you and it's guiding you through the merge conflicts, then I think it can be usable. But there's no way around it. Like, merge conflicts are a fact of knowledge. It's not.
Yeah,
that's nature. That's not my problem.
That's actually
my fault. Sorry.
That's not the problem I'm trying to solve here. The problem I'm trying to solve is once you get say if we had a single customer service agent session in a browser window. Now I could send you that URL.
Right.
After 4 or 5 days of these three people coming in and all doing their own stuff, it's going to get really heavy because it's considering everything.
What? What are you talking about? I think we're talking about different things. So, a multi-session bot would be like, you come in and you do your session, and why I celebrated when you showed me the ability to notice a topic change is because that's what I can use to cut the session off and be like, done.
Yeah.
And then now the session length is long, and we can even put in some warnings when you get too long. It's like, look, mate, your session's almost at maximum length. If you don't know what you need by now, you're probably never gonna. Is that?
But back to the, yes, but the you might have already solved this, but imagine that scenario where you got 3 customer service agents, 8-hour shifts, and it goes on forever.
Right. But
they're not going to use the same session.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are all talking about the same thing, customers, which is text file.
Right, but they got a
So-
different topic each time because the topic, what a topic means in this context, is a particular customer.
Yeah, but their actual goal is to run customer service. So
Right.
they might be talking about this customer, that customer, and so on. Then
Yeah.
they go off shift. It's like,
Right.
and at the moment, as far as I understand it, you can write that to effectively a text file around a schema, and someone comes up with spins up a new instance of customer service agent and saying, okay, right, and that customer service agent goes to that live data and going, okay, what do you want to do?
Right.
Has no idea about what's happened before other than what's been stashed in a text file.
In the file system, right?
Right.
Right.
Whether it's a log or whether it's the actual canonical
Oh
data
no,
or
it
whatever.
would not be a log because a log needs parsing. It would be the actual files. So the
Right.
end customer records would be committed to disk,
Yeah,
and that's what each new session sees.
yeah. But
Yeah.
the thing you're saying is, if I understood it, is files from one session. So customer agent 1 goes off shift,
Yeah.
closes down their session. It's all stashed to a text file. That text file is not available to the next session.
Oh no. The goal of the customer service bot is to make a commit that can be pushed, that can be merged back to the parent, because it's trying to get you to work on a specific customer record, make some changes, and then as soon as it's got changes, it's like, hey, do you want to push these to master? And that's what it's always trying to get you to be okay with committing back to the shared file system.
Okay, and so when someone comes with a new instance of the customer service bot,
They pull from master.
They pull from that. All right. Okay. So
they make a branch. They make a branch of master that's at the latest known state of master. They fork it and they work on it until they've made some changes. And when there's changes, we need to prompt that bot to be quite insistent that you need to say yes so that it can be merged back into master, right? Otherwise, it's like it's lost.
Right. Okay. So you got customer service agent 1 doing create updates and deletes.
Yeah.
And then it gets pushed back up.
Yep.
Completely new instance comes in of using that image of customer service agent. It
Yep.
comes back, and now it can see all the changes. Well, it can see what the current state is,
Yep.
I suppose.
Yep.
And then carry on from there.
That's right.
Okay. All right, I've got it. And
the
what's
quirk,
the-
the gotcha there is that if two agent sessions start and they fork, if they both concurrently modify the same record with a conflict,
Yeah, that's a different and harder problem, but yeah, yes.
then one of them's going to fail. Okay, now that's all fine, but the trick or the curly bit is that if one starts to read from a record and then has a chat about the record, and then while the chat's happening, this other one writes to it and merges to master, this one is now basing its decisions on stale data, and so it
Right,
would
that
be
whole
a
kind of lock thing problem.
yeah,
which
it's not.
is-
It's but a lock is a bad thing. What you really want in this case, I think, is a notification, where it's like, look, I know you read from this file, but while we were talking, someone changed it. Do you want to know what changed, or does it not matter? Right,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
now the bot may have determined that the user had moved on and it's no longer relevant that the file changed, but there should be at least some sort of an indication to the user that something changed.
Yeah.
The model I use to settle that in my head is being on an airplane with no internet. It's okay to be doing things and you're out of date. That's fine. That's system design. The problem comes when you merge back in. Anything we can do to minimize the jarringness of merging back in is helpful but not required.
Yeah, cool. Good. That's helpful.
Okay. All right. So the win for me here was backchat, being able to sort of move stuff around and change levels feels like the key to unlocking how to tie all these individual bits together, I think.
I agree. Sorry, I had one follow-on question.
Sorry.
And this is just so that I can progress with what
Yep.
we've got at the moment.
Okay.
So, as an example, we've got John Smith somewhere. If you can create a new HAL, how do I load up John Smith? So a completely new one outside of the session. New tab.
Right now, you don't, because I can't do that, sorry.
Got it. Okay, all right, fine. That's all right, I'll work it around.
With the backchat design, what we would be able to do with the backchat design is I could give you a command to fork this session, so you could have a new session that was exactly the same as this one but didn't affect it. Or the other one is we need to work out how to make this concept of shared sessions, which is where there's sort of a master file system and then these sessions are being forked off it.
Yeah,
but that's where starting an agent is.
Yeah, well, there's a third one, which is the kind of the basic. I don't know whether it's basic in terms of view, but it's quite hard to do. Is just refer to a file that has been in a directory somewhere. You take an image, spin up an agent, and that agent, when it's spinning up in its system prompt, saying, "All right, here's your record of customer data.
Right.
Here it is." And it goes, "Got it." And then the next thing you say is, "Tell me about John Smith." But it's a completely different session, but it's back on that main, if I understood it right.
Yeah. So what it should do is it should know to search the file system for the record named John Smith, or a record that contains John Smith, and then it will fish that out based on its last seen version of it.
Cool. All right.
Okay.
Well, that was a nice lengthy one.
Oh dear.
I've just noticed the time. I've got 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'm actually still in my pajamas.
Oh dear.
All right.
All right, buddy.
So
I'll get to work.
Yeah, I'll ping you tomorrow. I'm available. And keep at it. But yeah, nice one.
Sounds good, man. I think we're nearly there.
Amount of information in this.
Yeah. I think we're nearly there.
Nice one.
All right, buddy.
See you on.
See ya.